Good morning, good evening, good whatever one it is for you. I'm not really with it today. I've still got a cold, as you can hear, and it is not good at all. I was rough yesterday, like super rough, so I'm not feeling the best. So you have to bear with me and my bunged up nose. So I apologise if I sneeze or if you see me with my tissue. I really am going to try my best to keep it to a minimum and mute myself if I'm going to sneeze, but we'll see how that one goes. So I want to jump on and quickly speak about some news that's come up. There has been an Mbeumo update. Mbeumo, I can't say it properly, my bunged up nose has even worse. From what I read, I will give you the information and then give you my opinion of what I think. But I think he'll still go to Man United, and I said that anyway. I did think that. So this is the update that I have looked at, and I think this is quite a trusted source, I would say. Official talks are scheduled to next day between Manchester United and Brentford to decide the future of Brian Mbeumo. Confirmed. Man United are considering a new bid worth around 60 million from Mbeumo. Brentford are expected to demand a similar figure to Matheus Cunha fee, around 62.5. Tottenham Hotspur's interest is now considered concrete. The club held talks with Mbeumo's agent in recent days. However, Brian Mbeumo is clear he only wants Manchester United. The player will not consider any other proposals unless United walk away from the deal. Tottenham Hotspur have also not made an official bid to Brentford regarding Mbeumo. As of writing the info, no 70 million bid on the table. Manchester United are not happy with the time taken in the deal. They wanted a smoother completion of the deal. However, they will try to complete it as soon as possible on their terms. Brentford understand the situation but are keeping their cards close. They hope Spurs make an official offer to push United to get the best deal possible from MUFC and Tottenham. Important times approaching. So that is what's been said. So I think there was like conflicting reports about whether Tottenham put money down, etc., etc. But according to this, Tottenham had not made an official bid, so they've not made that bid. All they did was inquire, which is fine. I think that we probably knew that he was really set to go Man United. He already had that in his head that he wanted to go to Man United. So I'm obviously assuming that that is still the case. Until they walk away, then he is not going to be speaking or even thinking about speaking to anybody else. But he knows that our interest is there. So I guess that's the thing. He knows that our interest is there, and so we can only say that if he doesn't end up at Man United, then we can try and swoop in. But I'm sure that other teams might also do exactly the same thing, depending, of course, on what exactly happens. But yeah, that is the update. I would love to see him at Tottenham. I think he is good, but is he worth the money that they're asking? I think that in relative to us paying for Solanke and other players, I guess so. But yeah, I think that he would be good at Tottenham, and of course he knows Frank, and Frank knows him very well, and so it would be a continuation of possibly what he had with him at Brentford. But I just don't think it's going to happen. I think the talks will happen with Manchester United and they will finalise this deal. I really do think so, because the difference in what they want, I think, isn't that much. So I think they will come to an agreement. That is my personal thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are. What do you think? Do you think that he will be going, or do you think that there is still a possibility of us getting him? If you put it into percentages, what would you put your percentage on? Me, I would probably say, I don't know, like, I reckon 90% that he's going to go to Man U, and maybe 10% that he's not. Like, I can't see it being that he isn't going to go to Manchester United. I really can't. So I honestly think that the way it will go is that they'll have the final talks, as I say, and it will be wrapped up. And here we go to Manchester United will be very soon. But we are still looking at Semenyo, I think. And Wissa, I think we've been linked with lots of players. So we'll have to wait and see what exactly happens with those players and whether we will get them in or not. There's obviously other news I will be speaking about with the money in a little while. So stay tuned for that, because there's a really interesting article that came out. So yeah, let's get on to the next thing, which is Sonny is set to leave. So this is what the update for that is. Son is linked to Turkish giants Fenerbahce, held talks with him and his camp over potential move this summer. Jose Mourinho will be key figure in the deal if the deal materialises. While it's believed that Son Heung-min will be interested in the move to Fenerbahce this summer, an agreement with Tottenham Hotspur will be an issue. I mean, when's it not an issue? Fenerbahce not willing to make massive financial offer to Tottenham Hotspur for Son. Turkish sources believe they're interested in a deal worth around 15 to 20 million euros, which of course is slightly less in pounds as of today. Tottenham Hotspur will be open to selling Son if he wants to leave, for the right financial offer arrives around 30 million to 35 million euros is seen as the right figure. Nothing advanced or imminent between Son and Fenerbahce. Early stages, let's see how the situation develops. Saudi Arabian clubs are also interested, as informed before. So, Sonny, do you know what I think? I think that it would be very interesting for him to go into Jose. He did fantastic under Jose when he was with us, so I think that wouldn't be an issue. I think he works well under Jose. But the offer of 15 to 20 mil, I don't think is going to be enough. I feel like maybe 25, between 25 and 30 is probably reasonable. I think that if we try and get 35, I don't know if we will get 35. He only has 1 year left, and he also, with his age as well, I think that could also be a bit of an issue. So I don't know if that would be feasible. So let me know what you think. And the Saudi clubs, I don't think he'll want to go, because hasn't he spoken out before about it? I'm sure that he spoke out before and said that he wouldn't be really interested in that, going to somewhere like Saudi. So it is one of those that I just don't think that he would be particularly be wanting to do. Like, I don't know. I just don't think he's interested in going to Saudi. I could be completely wrong, and I hold my hands up if I am wrong. But I can't see him doing it personally. But we'll wait and see, I suppose, in what happens. So my throat is still a little bit sore. So that is what they've said about Son. I've always said about Sonny that I wouldn't push him out of the door if he doesn't want to leave. But if he does want to leave, then so be it, and let him go. I know that he's had a long time at Tottenham, and now he's actually lifted the trophy. It might be the right time for him to go, maybe in his head as well. So maybe that's why he is considering going. I think this is the first probably time that I can say that there's been the links for him to leave, and these seem pretty solid, like he will be looking to leave. Where I think before it was all just a bit like smoke and mirrors, and I didn't ever have that feeling that he will leave. But this time it definitely feels like he might well leave. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that he'll leave? And if so, how much money do you think we should be getting for him? As I say, I feel like that maybe between 25 and 30 is probably, for me, around the right number. But that will be in pounds, I suppose. That will be around what we've said for the asking price anyway, because in euros, obviously, it's slightly different. So I think that is probably, I would say, reasonable. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. I would love to know what your opinions are, and let me know if you would sell him or not. So the next topic is that Spurs do have money. I don't think this is a bit of a shocker, but maybe it is for some people. I don't know. But the article came out, and I think there was a further article that was put out, but the original one was from the BBC. So before, what was reported was that Tottenham have to sell before they can buy this summer, but Tottenham had a boost because of the extra money from the Europa League. So that has changed things slightly. And that's why now things could be slightly different to what they was be seen as before. BBC Sport have now claimed that being back in Europa's Premium Club tournament will ensure that Frank will have a substantial budget to utilise in the transfer market. Interestingly, the other outlets suggest that there is also a growing sense at N17 that the owner in Enid Group are taking greater interest in Tottenham Hotspur's operations. It's claimed that this move could potentially impact North London's club expenditure in the summer. So it's definitely changed from before. That before it was said that we had to sell to buy. And then this other part, which we already know, is that about the shake-up at the board, and that could be the catalyst as well to why there is now more interest being looked into with spending money. And also that there might be external investment as well, which again, there's been various links to different places that we could be indeed getting some money from somewhere. So there is money at Tottenham. It won't be a case of buy that we have to sell to buy, but I still feel like we're going to make money regardless, because we're going to get some money, I think, for some of these players that we do sell. And if we do, I feel like that money should go towards an Eze because of his buyout clause. That some people are saying that the buyout clause wouldn't be all of it up front. Why would his agent put that in there? Well, it isn't just down to the agent. Of course, it's down to the club as well. So if we look at what Parish is like, I think that he would maybe have said to him that he will get another contract at the time if he puts this clause in, but the clause has to be where you buy it all out at once. I think that's the case. I can't confirm or deny that. I don't know if there has been any substantial reports to say that Eze's is a buyout clause where you have to pay it all in one go. I don't know that for 100%. It has been reported, but then, like I say, other people are disputing that. But if so, if we do sell, like I say, some of these players, then that does give us the catalyst to go and surely grab Eze. Of course, he'd have to agree if we meet the buyout clause, and whatever which way it is put, then he would still have to say that he wants to come to Tottenham. It can't be a case of we just get him because we paid. He has to also agree. So I don't know if that will be an issue because he was seen at Tottenham. So I don't know if that will be an issue at all. We don't know. But yes, I do think that we do need to sell some players, and I do think that we will sell players and make money. So I think that Frank will have money to spend. Well, the club will have money to spend, and Frank will be okay with that, because my opinion is with players is that the managers, when we've known from the past, if you think about what has been said in the past, my opinion is that what happens is the scouts go and look. Levy tells them how much they've got. The scouts look, and then they go to the manager and say, "Do you want this player?" Or they say, "Well, there's these two players we're looking at. Which one do you want?" I think that's how it works. I don't think that the managers get the final, they don't get to choose. They get the final say because they get to say yes or no, but I don't believe that they get to choose. I think that they get asked what players out of the ones that they've already picked or looked at. So I don't think it's a case of that he will, like Frank will say, "I want blah blah blah." I don't think that's how it works, because we already know that with Pochettino that didn't happen. We know with Jose that didn't happen, and we know full well with Conte that didn't happen, as he come out and spoke about it quite openly and said he got the final say. He did get the final say because he got to choose whether he said yes or no. Frank has already been reported to come out and say that he approved of the Tell deal. So again, he's approved of it. So therefore, he is saying yes to it. It doesn't mean he's a yes man, but people who say that, I want everybody to keep the same energy, because I've never said that about Ange. I never said that about our previous managers either, because that is not how it works. Managers don't last very long in jobs nowadays, so they can't just buy just for managers. They have to think about the future and sort of future-proof players that they buy. So I believe that's what happens. I think the club decide and they say, do you want this player or this player, or are you okay with this player? Because also it was rumoured that when we had Pochettino, he turned down Tielemans. He said no. So that again means that he didn't choose Tielemans, but he was offered Tielemans. And as far as the Ben Davies thing goes, I believe that Ben Davies was probably already in the midst of extending. We don't know if that was because he's going to get sold the same as Sonny. And if it is, then obviously Frank didn't really have a say in that, because Frank wouldn't have known, because he wasn't our manager at the time. So that was done for a specific reason. But they might have mentioned it to him when they spoke to him and said, we're going to extend Ben Davies' contract. And that's because we're going to sell him, or that's because he's going to stay another year, whatever. So, like I say, we don't know the exact ins and outs of that one. But I do think that all managers are yes men, if you like, because they all have to have that option and they all have to say yes or no to a player. And that's how most places work with football. Like, most people don't think that that's the case. Maybe in certain circumstances, when you have someone like a Klopp or a Pep, maybe that is different. But the fact is that we don't have real managers anymore. They're all just head coaches, like I say, who get to have a say in what they want by saying yes or no, not because they go and pick specific players. They might like a player and they might mention a player and say, is he gettable? That's different. They're asking, oh, is so-and-so gettable? Or I like this player. Can we look at him? And they might go, no, he's probably going to be a bit much, or we won't be able to get him out of his contract, or whatever it might be. So again, I just don't think that's how it really does work. Although people think that's how it works, I honestly don't think so. That's just my personal opinion. Of course, I could be completely wrong. Let me know what you think. Do you think that Spurs will go big this year with spending this summer? Do you think that they will buy a big player like an Eze and put down a big amount of money? Or do you think that we're going to buy lots of players like normal and get lots of children in, like a lot of kids in? I don't know. I think we'll do a mix of both personally, and I do think we've got a lot of players to get rid of. So I think that it'll be a case of getting rid of a lot of players, and I think we will bring in some players, and I think we will choose a few older ones. There might be a few surprise ones, depending if Paratici comes back, because he does like to keep like a lot of plates spinning, and so we never know which one he is going to actually go for. So we'll see. We'll have to wait and see if Paratici does come out with some surprise ones and some older, like I say, older heads to sort of stabilise. And what people say is that we need some older heads, more experience. So yeah, let me know exactly what you think. Please make sure that you smash that like button, as that does really help. And please make sure that you have a wonderful rest of your day, evening, which one it is for you. And we'll speak again real soon. Take very good care of yourselves.